It's Wednesday the 16th of December and I'm here to show you some cross stitch. Welcome back everyone, it's nice to have you visiting, and welcome to any new viewers. There's usually get a bit of an influx of new viewers around Christmas time as people get a few moments of peace and quiet. And into the new year as well, because this isn't going to go up to the new year. So you can get some peace and quiet, stick a bit of Flosstube on, and just enjoy some stitching and watching other people stitching. So this is the project that I've been working on for the first 2 weeks of this month. It alternates every month with Just Be. So both of them get 6 months, well, we'll get 6 months of 2 weeks solid stitching throughout the year. So, yeah, as you can see, I've been working hard on the first row of pages, and I've actually finished that first row of pages. So there was 2 pages that I was working across. Let me move over, it's so wide. This is the regular version, but the regular version is 90 pages. It is almost a supersized project. Just not quite. It's 900 and... I think it's over 950 one way. So it's almost supersize. So, where were we? Yeah, pages 8 and 9. Page 9 is like 6 stitches wide pages, very, very partial, but it still counts as a page finish when you're celebrating it, because there are 90 pages and not 80. I think we've got 10 rows of pages, so they all count, especially on a project this big. It was, I mean, the moon blocks a colour in the moon, blocks of the yellow and creams. This colour change after colour change. We're back in the leaves and the seed pods and branches. So it's all very, very colour change from one moment to the next. And I actually managed to get this finished with 1 day spare on the rotation. I was really pleased with my progress on that, because I thought it would take a lot longer. However, I don't think there's quite as many colours in the leaves on this side as on the other side, and we're going to go back to the other side because I did make a very small start on page 10 with that 1 day. So there's 404 stitches I put in on that evening. So straight into the leaves and the branches. I think I've got a ghost on this page as well, but I won't know for sure until next year. So as it's the last, I can't get the whole bit in the whole row in frame at once. But I thought, as it's the last time it would be worked on in 2020, I'll go through the stats of my stitching, because I kept loads of records for this one. So during 2020, this one has been worked on 48 times. So that's either like an evening, a few hours in the evening, or at the weekends where I can get a few more hours than that. I have completed 28,385 stitches on this piece this year, and I finished off 5 pages. So I got the first row of pages finished. Currently, I am at 11.39% complete. I have a long way to go. This is going to take me years. So next year, I am hoping to get more stitching done on it, because at the start of the year, the rotation wasn't this 2 weeks thing, because I was working on Eternal Promise, and that was about 6 months. So I worked on this one for every couple of months, every 3 months, I worked on it a week. So obviously I tend to do about 12 stitching sessions in the 2-week period, so lots more available stitching time. If I manage to complete, if I manage to do next year what I've completed this year, which is I have stitched every day of the year so far, which is fantastic. So that's it for me for now. I am currently working on Mooka for the next, 2 more days. I did first evening on her yesterday, so I have 2 more evenings on that, and then it's Snow Girl, so I'll be back with another update shortly for you. Bye for now. Hello, it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Going to do an update because I've reached the end of rotation on Snow Girl. But first, I'll show you a couple of finishes I've had in the last, since I last filmed earlier this month. So, first one is Mary Clayton. It's a sampler by Hands Across the Sea Samplers, and I stitched it on 37 count legacy linen in the colour Russian Tea Cake. I must admit the colour was a lot lighter than I thought it was, but it does suit this one perfectly. It just looks so nice. I've stitched her using the called for Versoir silks, and I really love how she turned out. So let's try and zoom in on a few of the details. So the big house, lots of brickwork to do. I think it's a dog in the front garden there, and nice simple border. It's just used, I don't know, there's not really any, there's kind of a pattern to the colours that were used and when they were used. But there's some very bright ones in there, like the hair. And some bowls, and actually in here, oops, I'll zoom in even closer. Is it going to focus? Oh, which way am I not going to quite focus? There we go. You can probably just make out in that window frame the dark colours for the glass, for the interior. There's some stitches that are squished. So on the whole this is stitched 1/2, but there are some kind of squished stitches, and Heritage Stitchcraft refer to them as squashed fractionals. And there's a couple more there in that lighter colour. And what they do is they go across one thread but up 2. So you get the full height of the regular cross stitch, but it's just skinny stitch. So that's in the house, which kind of gives it its symmetry. But down here, she's run out of room to stitch years after her age. So she's just made do. She's got it in. She's squished her stitches, got it in, and got the full stop in there as well. And this is one of the reasons why I really love this sampler, because this girl, she wasn't going to rip it up and start again, or she might have had a tantrum because it didn't fit, but she got on with it and she made it work. It's probably a lesson to all of us. Get it. Make it work for you. So, I think some of the other flowers as well. Some things are not quite lined up the same as they are elsewhere. That one is a bit different to the one over here. There's one of the flowers has fallen away a bit. And it's just so nice to find. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. And we should stop stressing about it so much in our own stitching. So, Mary Clayton. I really love her. Can't wait to get her framed. I'm gonna, once we get to the new year, depending on what all the restrictions are, because the framers might be closed. But as soon as I can, I'm going to get a frame for her. I have Sally Stansfield to do. I think she's a similar size. I'll probably do her on the rest of the fabric that I've got. It should fit. So I don't know if I'll be starting that next year, but I believe I've got everything I need to get started on it. But we'll see. There's lots of other things to do. So the other thing I finished, so that was a start and a finish this year. The other thing is also a start and a finish this year, and that is Strawberry Sampler. And that is by From the Heart Designs. And so it's a long, skinny, it's not huge. So this one, got some alphabets, regular alphabets. And we've got some Smyrna crossbands. And we have an eyelet alphabet. And it was my first time doing an eyelet alphabet. I've done eyelets before. But making letters after them, oh, I had to have a break. I think I had a break to stitch Scary One, which I showed you in my last video. I needed it. So, yeah, so eyelet alphabet. It's not a complete alphabet, but it felt long enough. And there we go, we have the name, bird on the flower. Oops, there we go, little squirrel. And this gorgeous bird there. Could be a parrot. So, that's stitched on, I think it's just regular 40 count light mocha from Zweigart, and the Threads a Weeks dye works on this one. So that needs to be framed as well while I'm buying frames. And finally we have Snow Girl. This is a retired Heaven and Earth Designs chart. It is by the artist Neen Thomas. Now Neen Thomas does chart her own work now, and I did see on her website that she has got this one charted. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. It's not called Snow Girl. It's got a different name. But background. So when I stitched it last, we had well, I stitched all of the colours except one on this page. And this one last colour had a few thousand stitches, which I'd completely forgotten about, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to go on to her hair this time. No, I had to fill in that page. It took ages. It was so boring. And I was just getting so distracted by browsing on my phone, which I tried to avoid doing when I'm stitching because it takes time away from the stitching. And it's not constructive time. So like browsing on my phone, playing Animal Crossing, it's just anything to avoid doing that same colour. So, lesson learned, I'm not going to do that anymore on this one. So I did start, so that was page 7, I eventually finished it. And I made a very, very small start on page 8, which is a little bit of background and then hair. And her hair is mostly just solid black. There's like these bits here, the snowflakes. They're supposed to stitch to give some kind of texture and volume to her hair. But this whole row of pages is going to be mostly that. It's quite boring. Hopefully I got some of the flowers that she's got in her hair. But it's a drag. So, I didn't get a lot done this year. I got page done, which I started this in 2012 and I'm only just on the second row, page 7. It's not held my attention a lot. I love the finished picture. It's easy one to set aside. In fact, once I did get that page finished, I had another day I would have done on the rotation. Yeah, I felt like some colour, so I did something else. But, so I've stitched 3,778 stitches this month on this, and most of it was one colour in this page. And so in 2020, so good, she wasn't on the rotation for the full year. She has had 11 days stitching done on her, and I have managed to complete 8,472 stitches, which got me this page. Next year I'd like to do 2 pages. She'll come out, she's in the 1 week rotation every 3 months, so I should, fingers crossed, 2 pages on her, which will get me back into her hair, and almost halfway through the row of pages. So she's a long-term project. She's not one where, like, I really want to get this finished, I really must have her hanging on the wall. I'll hang her on the wall when she's done, but she's going to take her time getting there. I don't think she would hold my attention enough to put her onto a 2-week rotation. I think I would get very, very bored of the blocks of colours. Now, as I get further through, from what I understand from someone else that was stitching her that had started at the bottom, there's a lot of confetti down there. There is a little bit, and there's the hair strands. There's really nice detail. It looks really nice and messy, damp, been out in the snow hair. So as I get through it, I might find more patches of colour changing, stuff that will hold my interest. She has this like huge corsage flowers in her hair, and when I get there, that will be nice and interesting to stitch, and I'll enjoy that. Her eyes, once I get there, again, interesting, but I still don't know if I'll be able to do her for 2 weeks at a time, so she'll stay as she is on the rotation for the foreseeable future, and I'll just go through and tick off pages as I do them, and we'll see where we go. Might speed up. So that is it for now. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, we did have plans for Boxing Day, but we got moved into Tier 4 because the virus is spreading quite quickly in our area, so we're not actually allowed to go anywhere for Christmas. We have to stay within our household. So now I'm sewing. It's great. As I said before, we do really like a quiet Christmas. It should be stress-free. It should be about taking things easy and enjoying what you have, and I fully intend to make the most of that. I'm going to be stitching on the stitching time and not having any new Christmas Day starts this year. It's the first. It's been a while. I have got some stones for Christmas presents. I'll show you those. Got a couple of kits. Well, I bought a couple of kits, and because they were coming in around end of November, December, they got put straight into the Christmas present bag. So I haven't even opened them to have a look at the pretty colours. So, yay, that's tomorrow I get to open them. So, yeah, where was I? Stitching time. I will be working on that through to the end of the year. I've got work a couple of days next week. I'm working from home, and it'll be really quiet because there's nobody in, so it's kind of making sure that things are ticking over, things are getting done. So shouldn't be any major disasters there. I hope I haven't jinxed myself. So I will give you an update when I finish that, and I was going to do a whip video at some point. We'll see how I do that. I don't actually have a lot of whips, which is really good, and I finished a couple of things off, which is even better. So I'll probably squeeze in a little update on that as well, and I've got some new starts planned for 2021. Just small ones, no more big ones, no full coverage. Not planning on any full coverage starts next year. I'm really determined to get progress on everything on the stuff that I've got started that's active. I'll go through that when I go through the whips and just get more progress. I like seeing progress. It's all stitching, right, isn't it? It's like whether you're just starting all the things or just stitching on the same things, as long as you're putting stitches in them, you're getting further through them, and eventually you get the finishes. It'll be a long time for this one, but I'll get there eventually. So, I'll be back at the end of the year with that update. Don't think I'll have anything else finished before then, but I do have progress on something else to show you. So I'll see you then. Bye for now. Hello and Happy New Year. It's the 1st of January and I'm just about to switch over to my January rotation. So here is where I got to on a stitch in time last year. Stitching it last night as well. Got some of this done. Where was I? I was in this area and this is page 3, this part here, page 3. So I've got the fan started. Let's zoom in a bit on that. There we go. That's a rosebud there. So it was mostly books, this fan, and part of page 4 there. I've already stitched quite a lot of page 4. So yes, page finish. And that was on the 29th. And then for the rest of the year, I I'd already got this part of page 4 done, so I'm working it down again a bit more. And I haven't got the whole thing unwound, so I can't show you everything that I did this year because there's a page down the bottom that I worked on. But I have completed pages 1, 2 and 3. 4 is nearly done. 5 and 6 are done. So my goal for 2021 is to get this bit filled in, and that will be pages 7, 8, 9 and the tiny partial that is page 10. So with what's left of page 4, I'd say I've probably got about 4 pages to stitch, which is how many pages I got done this year. I did have the numbers, but stuff's locked. And there we go. So this year I have worked on it 70 times. I think it's a project that has come up the most with the rotation. Really it works out to be the same as Trick or Treat and Just Be, well, what they'll be this year. Because obviously last year I spent the first half of the year finishing off Eternal Promise, but this still got worked on 1 week a month, sorry. So that's how it's got so many times on the being worked on. And also it tends to coincide with a lot of my time off work, which tends to be towards the end of the month, so this is usually the one that I work extra time on, really. So that's probably how I've managed to reach the total of 35,773 stitches this year, which is a lot. And this project is now, I haven't got the percentage on me. I think it's about 29% complete, because it doesn't look like it because I'm saying I've just finished pages 1, 2 and 3. But I have actually done almost the entire strip of columns of 2 pages. There's a tiny partial at the bottom that I haven't done, that's it, but a lot of that is actually stitched. So I have completed more of this than it looks. And yeah, so next year, fill in this bit. If I do manage to do extra, then it will be back to this side. Finishing off the spring shelf. Let's see, where does that come down to? Down to there. And then starting on summer, and I will be glad to get to the greens because I'm a bit bored of pink. Now, and these pink flowers are so full of confetti. So that's my plans. I've had a really good year of stitching. I've worked from home for most of the year, thanks to all the various lockdowns and my company being very good at not insisting that people get back as soon as things started to open up. We stayed working from home because we were all doing so well at it. So that's going to continue in the start of the year. Vaccines are on their way, but who knows how long that's going to take to get enough people done. But so maybe a few months still working from home, and hopefully I'll be given the opportunity to do that more in the next year anyway. I'll be very happy. I've had 12 finishes this year, various smalls, and also Eternal Promise and Death by Cross Stitch being my quite large ones. So for 2021, a lot of my stitching is being tied in with the Full Coverage Fanatics group, or actually I'm tying those challenges in with my stitching. I don't change my rotation based on the challenges. I like having everything planned and organised to help keep my head straight. So Just B will be my focus for finish in 2021. I'm using it for the Full Coverage Fanatics 21 in 21. So 21,000 stitches to be done. I only have about 24,000 to do, and that's finished. So that will be done. I'm going to continue with the rotation much as it was, except for one change that was made a couple of evenings ago. I have decided to retire Snow Girl. I just wasn't feeling the joy from her anymore. It's just the thought of all that background, all those blocks of colours, it's just not suiting me at the moment. But I enjoyed the really bright colours and the fiddly stitching. So that's going away. I'm not getting rid of. I've packed everything away. Much like I did with this one. At one point I decided, nah, I'm not going to do this. And I packed it all away, and then not that long after, a few months, I was like, no, I want to stitch this, I really like it. So it came out, and now I'm really quite focused on it. So who knows what the future will be for Snow Girl, but in the moment she's taking a rest. In her place, I'm going to be stitching Nightmare from Gecko Rouge. I've only got one page completed on it. I started it last year while we were doing the renovation works, and because the first page was mostly two colours, it was a nice one to just pick up and do. Again, block colours, but I'm getting on to more interesting parts going forward on that. It's the same artist as the gamer, so it's got very similar. We've got a fairly plain border around a very busy central picture, so I'll enjoy that. So that is going into Snow Girl's slot on the rotation, so that will be first out in March. So yeah, my main plans are mainly I want to finish Just B, get the equivalent of 4 pages done on this, finish the top 5 pages, and Trick or Treat. I don't know how many pages I'll be able to get done. I'm getting into the house. I would hope at least over halfway through the next row of pages. That would be good for that one. The other smalls would just be a page or two on each of those, not the smalls, the ones on the 1 week. So that's Unicorn, A Little Light Reading, and now Nightmare. Just 2 or 3 pages on each of those would be a nice target to aim for. And obviously weekends, I've started a new sampler today. I'll show that in my next update. And I've got some new smalls lined up to stitch next year because I finished my strawberry sampler too. So that's it for now. That is my stitching for December. As I said, it's been a great year. I've managed to stitch every day this year, 366 days. And hopefully I can almost achieve that next year. So I'll see you at the end of January. Bye for now.